This is Julie from the Paper Haven. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK, and today I'm going to be sharing some cards with you using the Flowing Flowers stamp set. Gosh, it's been a while since I did an online class on a Saturday. So first things first, thank you to the ladies who have taken part in the class today, and I'm going to share with you the cards that we can make. Okay, let me just get them organised here. Okay, we are going to start by making two simple cards that are exactly, well, the same, or in theory they are the same. There might be a slight difference in position of stamps, but we're going to do some nice simple clean and simple cards there with the Flowing Flowers set. Then we're going to step it up a little bit and add a little bit of colour, a little bit of twine and an embellishment. We are then going to make a trifold card from a sheet of A4. I'm going to show you how to make that. And then we're going to finish with a tall slimline card here. So I want to go through the pack with everybody first. In the pack you have got 4 normal C6 envelopes plus a large envelope. Julie made a bit of a boob and didn't have any DL envelopes, so we might have to just make that an envelope wrap or something. Anyway, that big envelope is for that card. And then you have a little packet with some twine in, some ribbon and some embellishments. I'm not going to open this because this is for one of my customers on Saturday. So it does contain this ribbon, it contains some twine, and it contains some of these little elements. And then we have, let me think about this, oh hang on a minute. Yeah, we have 3 sheets. You should have 3 sheets of the standard basic white on one side. I put the white separate, then a sheet of polished pink, a sheet of pear pizzazz, a sheet of pale papaya, it's all the peas, isn't it? And then 2 sheets of the thick basic white. Okay, so 3 and a 2. Yeah, that is correct. So you will need a trimmer, some sponge daubers, or a sponge, and I'm going to start by taking the first 2 cards. I'm only going to make one of these because they're exactly the same. So I'm going to teach you how to ink up the stamps, and I'm going to show you how I use the Stamparatus for these, but you don't have to. I just don't use it enough, and I'm trying to use it a little bit more. So I'm going to grab my trimmer, and this is a piece of the thin or standard basic white, and then I've got a piece of the thick. So I'll take the thick and I'm just going to create a card base, and what I do is I put my card in full sheet of A4, I put it in portrait or vertically, and I'm scoring, not cutting, scoring, and I score it at 10.5. Then I turn it and I cut it at 14.8, a tiny bit. That means you only have to do 1 score and 1 cut. I used to, many years ago, cut it first and then have to do 2 scores, and I thought, what's all that about? So we then have our 2 card bases. We can set those aside just for now. And I'm going to take the standard white and I'm going to cut it at 9.5. Again, it's in portrait. 9.5 by 13.8. Now, you can, obviously you need 2. I'm only going to make the 1 because they're both the same, really. They're both exactly the same apart from the sentiment. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Stamparatus. Now you don't have to use this at all. Just need to grab some grid paper. Which I'm going to cut down because I've taken my Stamparatus grid paper home. So I'm just going to put a normal one down. I'm just going to guess what size I might need. It's a bit small, but never mind. We'll pop that in there. Okay. Now, if you have a look at the stamp set, this is actually a red rubber stamp set, which means that we don't need to have our mat for stamping. Now I'm going to clean my stamps because I was a little bit naughty and I didn't clean them from last time I used them, but I do think that I'm only going to be using the same colour inks and stuff with them, so it shouldn't matter too much. But anyway, so let me just get those sorted out and then I can show you which colours I'm using. I'm going to do a happy birthday actually. Right, have I put stickers on all of it? Yeah, I have. For those of you who aren't sure about how to mount your stamps, I don't know where the sheet's gone. It's not in my box, so I can't even show you how to mount them because the stickers have disappeared. Oh well, naughty Julie. Okay, so I've put these on blocks because I am going to do some stamping with the Stamparatus and without. So I'm going to start off by showing you with. So with the Stamparatus, you have two plates that you can bring in from the top and from the side. Okay, and you don't specifically need to use this for this project, but it's nice to show you how to use it. And as I said, I don't use it enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this in here and I am going to put my magnet there to hold it down. And I'm going to pop my stamp like that and think, I want this here. Now, it is good to use this if you were wanted to do a lot of the same projects over and over again. So say if you were doing wedding invitations or something like that, then it's quite good to do that. So, oh look, you can see a little bit of my ink there, but that's fine because we're going to be stamping there anyway. And then I might want to think, all right, I want this here, like that, just sort of overlapping. So I can pop that there and I can just pick it up on the block there, on the plate there. Okay, now we are using, what I'm using colour-wise, you can use any colours that you like today, but obviously I've sent you certain colour cardstock. I am using polished pink from a darker pink. I'm using pear pizzazz, fresh freesia and pale papaya with a hint of basic grey. So I am going to keep my stamps the same colours for the same stamps throughout the class. So I'm going to ink up. You can't really see that, can you? There we go. I'm going to ink up this. Now, what some people like to do, they like to put something like a ink pad underneath it so that it's level and sort of flatter rather than on a tilt. So I've inked that up. I'm going to bring it over and I'm going to push it down. And I've only pushed that down once and look what I've got there. Now, if you hadn't had a successful stamping situation, you could go back and you could redo that. Yeah, and that's a good thing about the Stamparatus. If you'd missed a bit, you could ink it up and press it down again. Right, now this is going to be tricky because this is out of shot. So here at the top, I have my other flower, which this other flower needs to be coloured in 3 different colours. So I am going to show you this by showing it on this card here. So I've used polished pink, pale papaya and pear pizzazz. And how I'm going to do that is with sponge daubers, but I'm going to show you another way as well. You could use sponges if you were careful, and you could even try and do a bit of masking. So grab a sponge or a sponge dauber and sponge ink onto the flower like that. So I'm using papaya for sort of like these little dots. And then pear pizzazz for the leaves. Okay, I'm going to move that up now, bring that back up. Hopefully you can see, and I'm going to bring it down here. And stamp there like that. There, look, it's slightly overlapping, but that's all right. I like that effect. Okay, so I actually want to stamp this here again, but what I'm going to do, I just wanted to show you that for the Stamparatus. I'm actually going to now not work with it anymore because it's quite difficult to get it in the shot for the video. So I'm just going to move it to the side. Now, but I do need some grid paper. So we'll pop a bit of that here. Now, what I want to do is I want to do another one of the same flowers here. So let's put that on that block. You do need quite a big block for this. Now, if you had the markers, you could actually, I'm going to sit down now. I've been stood up for the whole of the video. I think I've been stood up for 12 minutes. If you have the markers, these are the Stampin' Right markers. I'll be honest, I hardly ever use them. So I thought, Jules, come on. So one's a brush end and one's a fine end. So I'm going to take the brush end and I'm going to colour the stamp. I've not done this actually before with these. I've just thought I'd give it a try for the video. Okay, so I need to act fairly quickly so it doesn't dry. So I'm doing the papaya and then the pear. You probably have a little bit more control if you're using the markers. Then we can huff on it. Now actually we're not even going to see much of this, so just angle it so we can try and see a bit of the colour. Oh, look how dark that is compared. Uh-oh, that's a little bit dark, isn't it? Wow, intense. Never mind, never mind. We'll maybe not do that. I should have done that on its own rather than... So look at the two effects you get. Right, we're going to take the other stamp, which is this image. Now, please be careful with this one because there's a lot of excess rubber on the edges and you can end up with a bit of ghosting. So I'm just going to fill in with this. Fill in here and here with that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that green sponge dauber again. Oh, sorry, I just got a low battery message on my phone. I'm going to grab this green sponge dauber and daub in the leaves. And I'm just going to add them in this corner here. Like that, very subtle. Not so... That obviously wasn't quite so subtle over there. We might pretend that that didn't happen. And then finally, I'm going to take the basic rain pad and the happy birthday. Do love this font on this. Just check for ghosting. Look there. I've got a little bit of excess ink. So just check that. And then that is going to go somewhere like that over there. Okay. And I'm going to grab my, look, I've got grey on my fingers now. I'm going to grab my card base and some glue. This is the wrong glue. Julie, where's the glue I was using this morning? It's disappeared. Oh, it's here. It's hiding behind my lovely cappuccino. So these are really quick cards. Obviously, what I would do if I were you, I would do all your stamping first and then assemble them. And the reason why I've done this quite piece a lot smaller, I like the nice wide white border that you get all around. Now let's bring in the one that's not got the really dark colours. So that's what it should look like. Maybe we don't use the markers again, unless we do the whole card with the markers. So that's the first card. That's what you should, the effect you should have. And as I say, you can also do your thank you card too. And I'm going to put those pieces of card to one side, because then I know that you've used them and there's no more card left with that. Okay, let me look at timing. We're only on 17 minutes, Julie. So let's work on the next card, and then I'll have a little break. So this is the next one, okay? And I'm using a little bit of the pale papaya. So you had a sheet of that in your kit, which you need. And we also need another thick, because in theory we've used our 2 thick whites. So we need another thick Whisper White cutting, but I'm going to use the one I've already done. If that makes sense. I've already got one prepped. Yep. And I have this long piece of standard white left over from the first card. Oops. And I just need to check. I was going to say I just need to check my measurements, but I can't see my ruler. So let's just pop this in here. Okay. Right. That's fine. So the white card is 9.2 wide, 9.2 by 13.5. I'm just going to check that. Okay, and then the pale papaya is 9.7 by 14. And then we have that little layer there like that. Okay. Whilst you're there, you can also cut, whilst you've got your papaya, and a 2 centimetre piece. I think 2 centimetres is enough. Let's just have a look. Yeah. That's fine. We can pop that in there. Right, so that's that done. So what I'm going to do for this one is bring in my grid paper again. I'm going to ink up my stamps, just using the normal blocks. So I'm on with the Fresh Freesia one first. Bring in my piece of white. And I've forgotten to say, you can pause or rewind this video if you need a break or if you need to go make a cuppa. So this one I'm going to do about 2/3 of the way down, like that. I must have a drink because I've made this lovely drink. Okay, so that's the freezer. And then I'm going to take that lovely other floral one again, and I'm going to do my sponge daubing again. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do the main one, the one that you see the most of. I'm going to pop that there, like that. And I'm going to repeat the process. Just checking you can see all this on the screen. And then I'm going to do this one down here at the bottom. Like that. I've got a bit of an overlap, that's all fine, that's fine. And then I'm just going to fill in with a bit of the fresh freesia at the top. So I purposely wanted to have this to one side and a bit of white space here, yeah? Okay, Julie, right, so the sentiment I've used on this one is a lovely one that says sending a card instead of a text, which I think is marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. That'd be me getting a block out. Okay, so I'm going to take this. Now, when I first designed this, I wasn't sure whether to have this going all the way over. You know, obviously I've only used a little bit of it here. I just wasn't sure what to do. So we can decide, can't we? So when you ink this up, again, be careful you don't get any excess ink around the edges. And if you do, we've got a spare side of the card, haven't we? We can always use the emergency side. That's not too bad. It's a little bit on the wonk, but we can cope with it. So we could pop that there. Yeah. We could trim it off here. And decide if we want it going all the way over. I might do it on this one. So let's do one different. So I'm just popping it where the two flowers overlap, like that. And then I'm going to grab my linen thread and I'm just going to wrap it round. I'm actually going to tie it over this side where there's no text. Now, if it's a bit slack, that's fine. We can work with that. So I didn't pull it tight enough, but that's fine. can rescue that with a bit of tape. You could use washi tape, or you can use double-sided tape, or a bit of masking tape. I've got washi tape to hand, so I'm going to pull it tight there. Pull it tight from the other way and stick it down with a bit of tape. And I am going to keep that bow at that side. Where have I put my little thing? Ah, there they are, here they are. And I'm going to add a little one of these. Now these are carrying over, so I'm going to pop that there, like that. Now with these, I'm going to put the glue on the project, like that. You could use a glue dot actually, that'd work really well. And I'm going to take the pansy flower, resin flower, and hold it down with my scissors and have a little drink while I'm doing it. Maybe should have stuck my card together first, but never mind. So there we've got that. And we can add our pale papaya background. My hands are really quite dirty with ink, so I'm having to be super uber careful. And now I'm going to grab my card base, and I'm going to pop that on there like that. Now if you wanted to, if you were that kind of crafter, you could add some sparkles. If you wanted to. I've not included them in the kit, but you know, I know some of you love your little sparkly things, so you could add a few of these if you wanted to. These are the ones from the mini catalogue, and I have to say you get absolutely loads in these. I've taken my thingy home, my picker tool thing, so I'm using my scissors. So you could just add some on there like that if you wanted to. As I say, I didn't intend to do this on here, but I just saw them, that they were still on my desk from a video that I filmed for my Instagram. So I thought, oh, we'll have a few of them on. And that is technically sort of card number 2, but you might have made 3 by now. So I've done about half an hour. I started at 10:30. So it should be around 11 now. So we'll come back at 11:15 to do the trifold card. Yeah, we'll do the trifold card at 11:15, and I will see you then. Thank you for watching. Bye.